Hi folks, I'm Mark with ProLine Range Hoods, and we're here to introduce and show you how to install our new 36-inch ProV wall hood. Now for this installation, we're here in our warehouse, and we have a brand new installation wall here to show some of our products on. And so we're going to install this. It's a 36-inch size. We're going to use our 1600 CFM blower. Now the blowers come in 1600 CFM and 900 CFM. 1600 CFM would be typical for a barbecue or maybe a larger output range or oven, a stovetop. So the first thing you're going to notice here is that I have two boxes. One is my blower. This top box is my 1600 CFM blower. The box is going to weigh about 45 pounds. And then I have my 36-inch wall mount range hood. And these are the two boxes that you'd get if you were ordering this for an undermount configuration. Now this is typical of our ProV package model. It comes with the range hood, the blower, and the transition duct piece to allow you to connect to your ductwork. Okay, now we removed our 36-inch wall hood and we removed the blower from the box. Now in this case, and what I would recommend, just use the box as your workbench to kind of prep everything, get it out, inspect the parts, make sure everything works. You'll see that it's covered with a plastic bag and some protective film. We're going to remove that in just a minute. Before I do that, I want to go over what you're going to find with your hood. Now in this case, this is our 36-inch model. You'll have two of the halogen bulbs that will go with the model. And then you'll have your instruction manual, and you'll also have your power cord, your main power cord. The ProVs, this will install, we'll show you how to install that later. The ProVs use a main power system, and then your remote blower, your rooftop blower, or your local blower will be driven off of the main power system and controlled from the hood. Now in this case, again, we're going to use a 1600 CFM local blower. Now we've unpacked that, and the only two things that are here are going to be the blower, again packed in protective plastic with some foam. Got a dual squirrel cage design with a powerful motor, 1600 CFM, full variable speed. That means that you can start it at 400 CFM and you can run all the way up to your 1600 CFM. Now the only parts that come with that are going to be a couple of grommets for your power cord and for your power supply that will go in the hood, and we'll show you how those install in just a minute. Okay, now we've removed the protective plastic and we've cleaned the hood. We've cleaned our range hood with just some normal glass cleaner and conventional, just a terry cloth towel. And we've inspected it for any dings, any damage. Looks great. And we're still using our packing box for our workstation here. So you can see from the bottom side, we still haven't cleaned that, but it looks great. I don't see any issues. And this is one of those things that you should do right as soon as you get your range hood. So, and again, it looks great. So what we're going to do, we've removed our packing tape from the inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove our baffle filters to prepare for the install. So we slide those up and we pull them forward, and then we slide them out. Then we have a center spacer. Bring that out. And then our other baffle filter comes out same way. Now you can see that these are full frame, 304, all stainless baffle filters. So we'll set those to the side for now. And then we have our grease trap, our drip edge. Now the way that this goes in is it rolls in. So you can see, here it is. And this back edge of the grease tray clips in to the hood and it rolls forward. Easy to remove, easy to clean, easy to replace, easy to put back. Okay folks, now we've removed the baffles and got a clear view of the inside of the hood. Here we've got our heat lamp ring. We've got our two spaces for our light sockets. We have our controls. And here's our power cord. We've looked in the instruction manual and we've seen which set of wires that we need to connect this to. So what I'm going to do now is turn this around so that you can see the back of the hood. my power connection is right up here. The reason we want to do this is so that we've tested this when we received it, but we also want to test it now. Let me just set it in this direction. We want to test it now so that just in case anything has happened, make sure that nothing is come loose, just as a final precaution right before we install it. The white connects to the white, and the black connects to the black, and the green to the green. And we're not going to push it all the way together because we're going to have to remove this cord when we install it. This is just for the testing. So we'll go ahead and plug this in. Got an extension cord here. Now the motor plugs in to the top. Now we're going to test that in just a second. We'll put it to the side and we'll test it. We're going to leave it out and leave it uninstalled. So now I'll take one of the lights that was included. Now the lights are standard 110 bulb with a standard base, so and it's a halogen. So we're going to install that in the first one. So our light control is here, and then our intensity adjustment is here, so that one works fine. Now for the purposes of this test, normally you'd use a heat lamp. Heat lamps take the same socket. I'm just going to go up and install the heat lamp in here just to test it, make sure there's no problems. And you can see the heat lamp is on off, so works fine. And there's our other light. Works fine. So great, so our lights work. Now what I'm going to do, kind of put this to the side a little bit, and I'm going to get my blower over here close enough so that I can install it. And it just plugs in the back of the range hood into what looks like a electrical outlet socket. And this is standard. Our blower is the same as a Wolf, Thermador, Viking, Brown, same type of blower and connection. So our fan, we'll turn it on, and you can hear it. Now the blower immediately turns on high for the first few seconds, and then it adjusts down. So we need to check the speed. And there, it's working properly. So now we can test this. We can let it sit for as long as we want. In this case, we've already tested it. We know that it's fine. So we're going to shut everything off, disconnect it, and go ahead and install the range hood. Now I've turned the hood around to show you this channel that's built into the back. It's a very convenient feature. It's one of the easiest wall hoods to install. It eliminates the need to have brackets on top. Now to do this, you're going to need a piece of wood. I've ripped down a 2x4. You can use a 1x2 or a piece of wood that you custom make. Here in the shop, I had them rip down a 2x4 to 3/4 of an inch, and it's just the edge of a 2x4, so it's 1.5 inches. Now it's 35 inches long. Our hood is 35 7/8. This will go right in here. Now once this is mounted on the wall, you're going to slide this in. So this needs to be, you need to figure out the height you want your range hood and the height that you need to mount your wood at. So what I'll do is take the tape measure, I'll measure down. I am at 1 inch and 13/16. So I need to make sure the top is at 1 inch and 13/16 from the top, or if I'm going from the bottom, now notice that I've taken the wood and I've pushed it all the way to the top. That's the measurement you need, 16 1/4. So 16 1/4 from the bottom, 1 13/16 from the top. Now I'm going to need to go from the top because I need to clear an outlet. If you're in the home, your most important measurement is going to be height off of your cooktop, which will be between 30 and 36. On the professional models, we do recommend 36 off the cooktop. Plenty of volume, you get plenty of coverage, great airflow, so 36 inches is a great height. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to measure this. So I need to be down 1 13/16 because I need to clear that outlet. Okay, so now I've got a level. I need to make a level line. I want to make sure that this hangs level. So in this case, I transfer my mark from the right side over to the left side, and that's going to be the top. So that's my level line. That's going to be the top of my piece of wood. Now, here in the shop, I'm not going to use any construction adhesive to glue this. If this were a permanent installation in a home, I would recommend using some construction adhesive, just a quick bead of construction adhesive on the piece of wood. I'm going to mount this right here at this height. I'm going to space it evenly off both sides. I've got about 1/8 of an inch to play with. So that's going to be where I'm going to need to be. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to do is find the stud, because you do want to anchor this into a stud. So in this wall, I know that the studs are here and here because that's the way we built it, but I can't remember where the stud is in the center, so I'm just going to find it. The stud finder's on the other part of the shop. It's 200 yards away, so I'm just going to find it real quick. It's right there. So if I just take a drill, because this is going to be covered up, and just take a quick drill bit. Now, missed, missed, missed. Got it. So it's right there. I was a little bit off. I was off by 1 inch. And sometimes they're not that easy to find. So now, if we're lucky, there might be, I think that's the only stud on that wall. Because this is our installation environment, I'm not that, in our warehouse environment, we do want to make sure that we're safe, but we'll add some extra screws in the back of the hood to make sure that there's absolutely no problems. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to use some longer grabbers because I need to go through 5/8 inch sheetrock. This is a commercial environment. I need the Now you can see that that's pretty doggone strong. Now with one nail in there like that, I know my measurement's close. I want to put the level up there again just to make sure we're absolutely perfect, and we are. Folks, our warehouse is by a train depot for Union Pacific, and so that's the train here in the background. Okay, now if you're at home, once again, I would recommend gluing this, applying some construction adhesive. That way you get the distributed strength of the glue to the sheetrock. You get the strength of the entire piece of sheetrock, but then you also get the strength, the strength that transfers through from your screws into the stud. Now, to pick up the studs on the side, I have to drive in at a pretty steep angle. So I'm going to pre-drill those holes, just so we don't split the wood. Now it's pine, it's not no special wood. These grabber screws are about 2.5 to 3 inches long. You can see that hit the stud, so plenty strong. That one also hit the stud. Okay, now we've mounted our wood mounting bracket. We've got it at the right height. one thing I always do, because I've learned over time, is that things move. Check it again, we're still level. I don't want to find out once I've got it installed that I'm a little out of level. Okay, now, what we need to do is prepare the back channel right here. You can see right now that there are no holes in there. We are going to want to drill and put some screws in there. It's easier if we drill those holes right now. I want to keep those holes as far to the outside as possible. And I'll tell you why. Once you get the blower installed and the motor installed, you can't access those. So if you had any reason and you needed to adjust this just a little bit, or you needed to go back in and loosen those screws after the blower's installed, you don't want to have to go back and take the blower out. So I just keep two holes to each side away from the blower. No big measurement here. I'm going to keep them high because my piece of wood was a little bit smaller. So there's my first hole. There's number 2. Then we'll put the other 2 in over here. Those holes are about an 1/8, maybe a 3/16 hole to allow for a grabber to go through, a 1 inch or an 1.5 inch grabber to go through and attach onto that piece of wood. Okay, so we've drilled the holes. We've double checked our level on our mounting plate or our mounting piece of wood up here. As you'll recall, I've got a stud right here. I am going to, as additional security, just to be on the safe side, here in our shop we always put another screw through the back of the range hood in that area. So what I'm going to do is figure out where that's at right now. Now the hood is a 36-inch hood. My measurement here is exactly 36. The hood is a little bit under that measurement. I know that my hole is going to need to be over here on this side. Well, it's at 15 and 5/8 from that side. So what I'm going to need to do is just write that down and remember 15 and 5/8. I could transfer that point down, but a lot of times you have tile and you have other things, and so you don't want to make a mark on the wall. It just saves time. Now the screws that you're going to mount through the back of the range hood don't need to be very long. In this case, they're about 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches grabber screw. So what I'm going to want to do is I want my drill and my screws readily accessible. I need at least a couple of them. So I'm going to do the old efficient holder method. Okay, now we've got our hood in place. We've got it up and we've got it in position. We've got it mounted. One of the things we want to do is just check our side to side. Okay, now I've got one of the screws in place. It's mounted. And we'll install the other screw. So we've gone right into our piece of wood as our mounting bracket. Now one of the things that we want to check again at this point is that we're level and we're side to side. Our side-to-side gap is even, if there is a gap. And we just want to look at the overall clearance. We want to check the level of the bottom, check our height, make sure that we didn't make any mistakes in our measurement. So, you know, looking at the top, I've cleared the outlet just like that was what I intended to do. It's right on. So now we'll go ahead and check our level front to back. And this would be, it's not uncommon to have this off just a little bit. You can put some shims in, you can straighten it, but in this case we are right on. So that's nice. So now we've got our hood installed, we've checked for level, We've got our additional fasteners in to make sure that it's stable. Now what we're going to do is install the remote blower, or excuse me, the local blower. Local blower goes up inside the hood. Now it'll mount on these 6 posts using some locking nuts. Now one of the things to get the access that we need, we're going to remove the grease tray, the drip tray. Then we also need to remove the housing for the heat lamp. Now this is done, there are 2 screws right in the back, easy to do. 2 machine screws. We'll go back in and install these again afterwards. Now you don't need to do this on the bigger models because with the dual heat lamps it doesn't sit right in the center. But on the smaller model we found that yeah, you can get it in if you try and finagle it, but it's just easier if you take it out. So the two screws, you can see that the 2 screws go right here that we removed. Pretty simple. Now also we do have customers that don't like that. You can have a plate made for this. We can provide those, and you can get rid of the heat lamp altogether. Remember, the blower weighs about 45 pounds. The blower goes in with this end up. So I've got it on the post. Now it gets a little heavy and stressful there for a second. I've got one installed and it's not going anywhere. So then I'll install my other one on the other side, and there, my motor's secure. Now, being the skeptic that I am, I'm going to plug it in now and I'm going to test it again. So the way you have and this is again why the cord is so short, but you have a plug, it plugs in right on the top, and I'm not sure that you can see that, but you can see it once your head's up inside there. It plugs in right on top. Okay, so we've installed the motor, we've fastened our screws, and we've installed the power cord. Now you'll recall, power cord has 3 colors, white, black, and green, so we've connected those to the corresponding colors for the hood. So now we can test the motor and the lights. Plug it in the outlet up here. One of the last things we want to do is, this is a grommet to protect the electrical cord from fraying. So you attach that over the cord and then you clamp it in place and then you push it down through the hole. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Pretty quick. Kind of, okay, there we go. So now we can test it out. And we are just about done here. So you can see we don't have any heat lamps installed, but we've got our lights. They function properly. We've got our blower. It's on low. And we've got a range hood that works. So now we'll shut this off. But before we install our baffle filters, we're going to remember to install our heat lamp shield. Okay, so we've got the heat lamp shield installed firmly, just the way it came from the factory. Now we'll want to go back and we'll want to install our grease channel, our drip pan. This goes in the back, so we want to put it in, carefully put it in, and then rotate it, roll it so it sits right there. And then we'll install our baffle filters and we'll be set. Now there's, on the 36-inch model, it's a little bit easier if I install the filters first, put those to the sides, and then I install the spacers last. So on some of the other models, you'll just want to pick a spacer to install last. Now, So the spacer goes in last, same way the filters go in. Slide it up, and then down. And then there you have it, nice and tight. Okay, the last step before you're done, now some people will, this will be an under cabinet model, and so you'll be putting this, there'll be a cabinet right here, you'll need to allow for this. This is the ducting transition. What this does is it converts the square outlet on top of the hood into a 10-inch round ductwork, much easier to work with, much more common. So you transition it, you put in 4 self-tapping screws around the side. Then one of the most important things is you want to use some aluminum tape to seal off all of your edges really well and seal off any holes. The motor and the blower will draw a vacuum from any open hole. You want the air traveling up and then out your stack. So you want to cap any holes. There'll be a few holes. So you cap those with the metal tape. Now, this is a standard transition. We can also custom make transitions. We have our own shop. So if you need something special, give us a call, drop us a note, give us a quick hand drawing, and we can custom design a piece for you like this. Now there is an additional charge, but if you need any custom ductwork, let us know. Okay folks, so there you have it. The installation of a ProV, a ProLine ProV 36-inch wall hood with the 1600 CFM internal blower. Now, again, one of the most powerful blowers that you can buy. So perfect for any barbecue application, any high output, high end stainless steel appliance. Beautiful hood, traditional styling, traditional design, well made, ready to give you years of trouble-free service. If you have any questions or you have any comments or you'd like to contact us, ask us to help you with your range hood installation, please give us a call, call our 800 number, or drop us a note on our website. Thank you for watching and have a great day.